is Generation Z. Not so bold outside of a TikTok comment section, are we? Well, I have a message for you from the millennials.
This is comedian Iliza Shlesinger, who, as you may be able to guess by now, is going to try to bridge the generational divide between Gen Z and millennials.
Our message is that you are not nice. Not nice to millennials, and we have because yours is a contextless generation made of sound bites and hot takes, you need to know a little bit about the history of my generation, and that is that we have taken it up our whole existence, okay?
The anger that Schlesinger is feeling towards society directly reflects the decisions made by our elected officials. But first, more from Iliza.
We were told we were lazy and that we could have everything, and then we got out of school if we could afford it, and there were no jobs and there were no houses, and then they said we couldn't have avocados, and we were young ones too, and then the pandemic hit, and all of a sudden we got you coming up our saying to us like, oh, millennials, why are you so chuggy? A word you invented just to with us, and you're angry, and I get that. You are angry, Generation Z, at this entire fire of an urban rummage sale that you've been given called a society, and we are angry too, but we have heartburn and our backs hurt, but we are right there with you, and you take it out on millennials because we're the only other ones in the TikTok comment section with you.
This is exactly how American politics have functioned for decades now. Righteous anger being mistakenly directed at the wrong source is the playbook for both the Dems and the Republicans to distract voters from the root of the issue. A broken economic system that incentivizes the worst people among us to work towards real positions of power.
But we didn't do this. We didn't start the fire. We are not responsible for it. We're not your parents unless we're from Texas and have no bodily choices. Like, that's not us. We didn't do all this. We're angry too. We are not your parents. We are your older brothers and sisters who showed you how to smoke weed out of an apple. That was us. We are your allies. We are your bosses who will give you the day off because your fifis are retrograde. Like, we get it. Because we used to lie at work too. We are your neighbors who will let you have your busted house party. Just keep the music down because of the kiddos. Like, we get it, okay? We laid the groundwork for you to thrive. We had the 90s first, you bitch! We did that! Never forget, we forged social media. Never forget that we walked on Instagram so you could run on TikTok. We gave you that. I want to go back to Instagram when a post was just a post, not monetized content. I want to go back to a simpler time where I could just hold up an iced coffee and be like, hashtag TBT. That's what I want. So we are your allies. Be kind to us because we're exhausted, okay?
Be sure to follow Iliza on her socials and check her out on tour if she will be in a city near you. And by the way, this goes for our European fans as well. All jokes aside, Iliza did an amazing job of highlighting how our political and economic systems inherently marginalize certain groups and pit would-be aligned groups against one another. It's not a stretch to say that a ton of our fellow voters approach politics like team sports, where they just have to support a team, Dems or Republicans, so they can feel like a winner if or when their side wins the game, as in the election. In reality, unless you're already a part of the country's elitist class, the top 1%, both parties actively participate in protecting their own power at all costs, which is why it's so important to choose the right candidates to support and not just blindly follow whatever party they claim to be a part of. Iliza is spot on in calling for Gen Z and Millennials to band together and not let these stupid labels distract us from working to drag ourselves out of the mess we have found ourselves in.